Happy Saturday, folks, and welcome back to Injection of Inspiration, where every single Saturday here on the show, I, Graham G.S. Matthews, inject you with your daily dose of motivational advice, helpful tips, and all that other great positive shit. Today, we're talking about going outside of your comfort zone. Challenge your comfort zone. This story took place about 4 years ago in the summer of 2013, right before I started college. So I already knew where I was going. I already chose my school. I had gone to the school, Endicott College, Beverly, Mass. Represent. I had already gone there in November of the prior year. I went there in February to check out the school, make sure I wanted to go there. Set in stone that I was going there in May of 2013. So when it came time for the orientation that summer, I thought it was just to go check out the classes and meet some kids, which I really couldn't care less about. I think anyone who knows me is well aware of that. I hate the whole fucking icebreaker shit in the first few days of class when you get to meet everyone. Who cares? Give me my fucking assignment. Anyway, so I go to this orientation to do some mock classes, get to know the school a little better, where the dormitories are and shit like that. Little do I know, I find out days before I go that you have to sleep over as well in order to get the full experience, because there's stuff going on the Friday and the Saturday. So I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do that. I don't want to sleep in the fucking dormitories with 2 or 3 other kids I don't know. I guess you have to do that anyway when you eventually go off to college and you have to meet new kids, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I understand that. Just wasn't really feeling it on this random summer night when it was fucking super hot out. It was in the middle of July. Didn't really want to do it, but whatever. And even more so than that, I didn't really, and it's not that I don't like to be alone. I love to be alone. I'm one of the more independent people you'll ever meet. It's just that I don't like to do the whole fucking activity shit, and I'd rather just get to know the curriculum, know what I need to get, know what I need to know, and then get the hell out of there. I had no intention, no desire to stick around and do the festivities and watch movies and shit. Like, I could do that for the rest of my life. I don't really want to do that right now. I don't want to waste time. But in order to get the hard, serious shit the next day on Sunday morning, or Saturday morning rather, you had to stay around on Friday night on the campus and do things with your class of 2017, with your upcoming class, get to know kids, meet people, whatever. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. So we do that. We do a few activities. There's like this play or this show or whatever. And I just randomly sit down to a bunch of random people. Not really trying to make conversation. I'll talk to people who talk to me, but beyond that, I won't make an effort to talk to you unless I find you interesting in any form or fashion. This girl starts talking to me, and we're joking about what's going on stage, and I'm hoping once we leave this auditorium area, when we go outside to watch this movie on the big screen, I'm pretty sure it was Batman the Dark Knight Rises, which is a fucking great movie, by the way. I just had no desire to watch it in the setting. So I'm hoping when we leave this auditorium area, go outside, I will have made a friend out of this girl, and we can, not like anything romantic or anything, but at least I have someone to sit down to and talk to. Well, of course, we leave. She goes her way. I go my way. I wasn't going to chase her down and attempt to follow her or anything. So we go outside. There's this mass group of kids. Everyone, it's like this one little campfire area. And then on the side of the building, of the academic building, they had this giant screen where they're going to be projecting the Batman Dark Knight Rises movie. So I just take a seat down next to the fire. Everyone's having s'mores and shit. I couldn't give a shit. I'm just sitting there on my phone. My phone's about to fucking die, so I'm getting pissed because there's nothing I can do except to watch the movie. Not by myself because I'm sitting around other kids. But again, I have no desire to talk to these kids. Nothing against people my age. There's a lot of people my age that I like. Don't get me wrong. There's just a lot of immature people. And not only that, just a lot of people I can't feel I connect with. So I really have nothing to talk to them about. Like, oh, what sport did you play in high school? I don't fucking care. What type of drugs do you do? Like, I don't know what to talk to these people about because I don't give a shit. But anyway, so I'm sitting around these group of kids. Some of them attempt to talk to me. We make small talk and that's it. Nothing really goes anywhere. And I'm counting down the minutes until we can leave and go back to our dormitories which were assigned to us. So I can go to sleep, wake up in the morning, go to what I need to go to, and then take off. Because I needed to be there on Saturday morning to go to these mock classes, the curriculum or wherever, whatever. We get to meet our deans and shit like that. But we had to go to that, so I had to stay on Saturday night, which is what I'm trying to get at here. I couldn't leave on Friday night, go back home, and this is in Mass, too. I don't live, like, down the road. I live fucking 2.5 hours away, so it's not like I could leave and then come back on Saturday morning. Anyway, so I'm sitting there counting down the minutes, waiting until I can go back to my dormitory and go to sleep, when all of a sudden these 2 girls start talking to me, who I assumed had been friends before, but apparently they had just been, formed a friendship on the spot, because I recognized them from the not the play, but they were doing like a talent show or some sort of challenge on the stage. I could not really remember what they were doing, but they were a part of it and they were a team, so I recognized them from that and started to talk to them about that. And they were asking me where I lived, where I was from, what I was coming to the school for, if I was interested in any intramurals and shit like that. And I really, it was fun to kind of take my mind off things and talk to these people and kill time this way. And they were genuinely cool people too. Again, I'm not really one to bother someone and go after them and start talking to them and doing this and that and blah, blah, blah. But they were making conversation with me, so I went along with it, and then, I had a really good time. They were both pretty too. That obviously helped. But, we're going back and forth. And then all of a sudden, first thing I know, everyone's gone. Everyone else is gone. It's just us three, maybe like 2 or 3 other people. But of the hundreds of kids that were there surrounding the screen, watching the movie and eating and talking and shit like that, pretty much everyone was gone. And it was like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was crazy because I had so much fun talking to these people, going outside of my comfort zone and kind of breaking down boundaries. And again, I'm not really one to go outside of my comfort zone and do different things and make friendships and stuff like that unless it's, required of me or whatever. I can talk to people, but only if I ever really have to. And in this case, I didn't have to. I didn't have to talk to these people. I could have just sat there by myself, doing my own thing, counting down the minutes until I could go. But I instead, opted to talk to these 2 girls who were very, very nice, and they obviously wanted to get to know me, and they were interested in me as well, not like romantically, but in getting to know me as well. So it killed the time. It was really fun, and I had a great night. It was fucking awesome. So as we're about to leave, again, my phone's pretty much dead at this point, and they're like, my phone I think it just died. So they're asking me for my number, and I give them my number, but I can't take their number because my phone's fucking dead. And I was pissed. So I'm like, damn it, of course my phone's dead and I can't get their numbers. But they're like, oh yeah, we'll all, congregate tomorrow at the fucking, at the, what's it called? The dining hall where they were having lunch and breakfast and brunch, whatever, the next morning. So we could all hang out again and then we can talk again and then I can officially get their numbers and whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. I didn't really know for a fact that would happen. I didn't really have faith I would ever see them again because I didn't have their numbers. So they had my numbers, but you give someone your number that you don't really have full faith they're going to do anything with it. They're going to contact you. They're going to text you, whatever. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll see you tomorrow. Not really thinking I would see them tomorrow. Sure enough, I wake up the next day late to the breakfast. I wake up because my phone was fucking off, so I didn't have an alarm clock, and everyone else that I was sharing my dormitory with was gone by that point. And they were pretty chill dudes, but they'd already left. So anyway, I wake up, I head to the breakfast by myself. I go there, I eat breakfast. I'm, just sitting at this random table with 2 other random kids, not the same girls from the night before. Looking around for them, can't find them. I just give up, sit down. I'm like, fuck it, whatever. I'll just do my own thing. I didn't expect to see them again. Not gonna worry about it. It was fun while it lasted. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they emerge, sit down right next to me, and they were like, oh, we've been looking all around for you, blah, blah, blah. So I got to talk to them some more, which was awesome. And one of them was in my major. The other one, I don't know what her major was. But one of them was in my major anyway. She was in music, going over to communications. So I got to talk to her even more so after that while we were sitting down in this meeting, and we got to get to know each other a little bit better and shit like that. And it was a lot of fun. So as we're leaving, I had my phone. I got her number. Or I didn't get her number because my phone was still dead, I believe. So I gave her my number. We promised to talk again and whatever. But it felt good to go outside my comfort zone and attempt to form a friendship with someone I didn't really foresee forming a friendship with. Putting myself out there. You have to put yourself out there sometimes in order to get the best results. Is the story, the lesson I'm trying to hit home here. Is that you kind of have to do things you wouldn't normally do and watch them pay off. Not every single time will it pay off. Not every single time. Sometimes you'll fall flat on your face, but it's those instances where you fall flat on your face where you learn something, and then when you eventually succeed in putting yourself out there, it's going to mean that much more. It's going to be that much greater of a feeling. So it was really cool to have formed these friendships with these 2 girls, and there were some guys too, but I didn't really give a shit about them. It was just these 2 girls. And then as for the aftermath, I did text one of them. Or no, she texted me. That's how I got her number, because I didn't have her number previously because my phone had died. So I talked to her a little bit over the summer. I didn't really talk to her too much before we got to campus, and I found out both of them were in my dorm. And this is pretty much irrelevant by this point, but I'm just offering aftermath for the sake of the story. They were both in my dormitory. I said hi to them when I was moving in. I'm like, this is going to be fucking great. What are the chances that both girls of the 15 dormitories on campus that they would just so happen to be in the same dorm as me. That's pretty fucking cool. After that, that was pretty much it. One girl, not the one that I was closer to that was in my major, the other one, pretty sure that was like the last time I ever talked to her. I saw her on campus a bunch of times, especially freshman year. I had a class with her. Don't think she even remembered me. She did come up to me one night, closer to Halloween, saying like, oh, were you at the orientation? Did we talk or something? And I guess she remembered me. And then asking if I wanted to go drink, and she was obviously drunk. And I said no. And I said hi to her a few times after that, but I guess the fact that I didn't drink didn't really interest her too much. So I'm like, okay, whatever. They might have been drinking the night we met, who knows? But still, I never really talked to her again. The other girl I would say hi to on occasion. We had a lot more classes together than I thought, because like I said, she was in my communications major. I saw her a bunch of times. We were never really good friends. She would always say hi to me. She always remembered my name, but I would never really make an effort to go out of my way to talk to her if I didn't have to, because I could kind of tell she didn't really want to be good friends. But what I'm trying to get at here is that for the initial, first few days of that orientation, I went out of my comfort zone, seemingly made 2 friends, and I felt really, really good about it, that I was able to go and do something that I wouldn't normally do. So you have to put yourself out there sometimes. Asking people out is the same exact thing. I mean, obviously I have a girlfriend now, but before that I wouldn't really put myself out there because I didn't want to be disappointed. I didn't want to be rejected, blah, blah, blah. And that's going to happen. That is inevitable. You know it's coming, but you don't want to face that reality. That's perfectly normal. That is understandable. But sometimes the biggest risks that you take will have the biggest outcomes, or the biggest results, the greatest results. You have this great feeling of satisfaction after doing it. So just keep that in mind when you're putting yourself out there and you're challenging your own comfort zone. It's great to stay in your little bubble and do your same, routine every single day and do the same stuff all the time. But sometimes it's even better to do something different, go against what you normally, not stand for, but what you normally do and what your normal routine is. And in those instances, sometimes you meet the greatest people. The best things you'll ever do is when you go outside of your comfort zone and experience something new. You'll be thankful for the experience, and even if you didn't like the experience, at least you could say you grew a set of balls, or whatever you want to say, and did it. You tried something new that you probably would not have tried otherwise if you stayed within your comfort zone. So that is my 2 cents. That is my injection of inspiration for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more daily content right here on the YouTube channel. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, guys. Stay tuned for another episode next Saturday, and I'll catch your ass down the road.